beats a zero.
We make everything look good, including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkaline.
The closer you are to nature, the healthier you will be.
Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for being here today. Today is a beautiful day because it's Saturday and we are here with you and you're here with us. This is a pre-recording, but don't fear. Do not fear because Dr. Zarif and I will be in the comments just having a chat with you. Don't forget to say hello to us. We will be there saying hello back. We are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. PST. So if you have not, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Go ahead and share the live, and please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zarif. Today we are talking about behavioral influence of food. We are talking about effects of salt, oil, and sugar, what to eat for mental health, and also how to find the right therapist. So again, please go ahead and share the live. This is great information that we're going to be talking about. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here so we can get going. Hello, hello.
And hello to you. It's really great to be here. We got
Yes.
a lot of stuff to do today, audience. Thank you for getting up wherever you are on this planet to join us at this time. We know your time is valuable, so we're going to acknowledge that right now. I would like to ask for you at the end of this to make sure that you're writing down something that you've extrapolated, something that you've taken from what we're sharing with you, so you can put it into action right away. Let's get started here. I'm going to start off with the conditions that we may not be paying attention to as much as we should be when it comes to behavioral influence. So we start off with the behavioral influence of food. That means that the psychological factors and the environmental factors are actually cues that affects us in or through our food choices and eating patterns. Now we look at things like ingestion, digestion, absorption, metabolism, storage. We talk about utilization, excretion, regulation, and behavior influence along with those patterns and adaptation. There are a few more that we can actually list here, but let's go with these 10. I want to look at ingestion because that's the very first thing that happens. The ingestion is the process of consuming food through eating and drinking. Then from there is digestion. And digestion is the breakdown of that food into smaller molecules in the gastrointestinal tract. When after we break down these foods, then there is absorption. Absorption means what? The nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream from the intestines. Then there's metabolism. This is a process of conversion of absorbed nutrients into energy or building blocks for the body. Then there's storage. Storing where excess nutrients are stored as glycogen in the liver and the muscles or as fat in the adipose tissue. And then we go next thing that happens is that there is utilization. Now, utilization means that the cells use the glucose, the blood sugar, and the fatty acids for energy production through cellular respiration. Getting down to excretion, this what it is important to know that this is what excretion means. Excretion means the removal of the undigested food and waste products from the body. Now, regulation is next. And regulation is hormonal and neural signals that regulate hunger, satiety, and energy expenditure. And we have two more left, which we start with behavioral influence, and that's psychological factors and environmental cues affect the food choices and eating patterns. So the way that we eat and what when we reduce the risk of disease and illness and infection, well, this is also a part of the environmental cues, along with some of the psychological and the eating patterns. Adaptation is last, and that's when we talk about the body, how it adjusts to the metabolic processes based on dietary habits and energy needs. See, first we eat the foods are in the form of fuel, and the fuel is then broken down and used as energy. So we always have this process happening because our bodies cannot, if we just ate the food and it didn't break down, then we would not be able to survive or live as we are, because all of the body is doing is breaking a pear down to the chemicals of a pear. And then you have an apple, the chemicals of an apple, or all of the vegetables is all broken down, and it is broken down to the chemistry that you see often when you are having either if you're still in school or if you're reading about it to find out more about how are we using the foods that we eat. Next, we're talking, we want to look into the excessive sugar on the body and the brain. Now, eating excessive sugar can cause memory loss, heart disease, weight gain, diabetes, energy, the lack of energy, the kidney disease, cavities, and liver disease. So this is also the number one cause of amputations, which is actually a form of diabetes, the excessive sugar or hyperglycemia. Taking in too much of these sweets will definitely increase the risk of death, increase the risk of injury, the illness and infection. So please take this seriously so that you can do something about it. If you don't know whether or not you have high blood sugar, then you can get you a glucometer, where just as an instrument that can give you the numbers. You want to be between 60 and 100. Most people are between 700 and 70 and 100. So that's important to know. Your normal or healthy numbers are certainly very, very important. Next, we have the brain reaction to glucose is so important because we're talking about the whole month being dedicated to mental wellness. Mental wellness, and part of mental wellness is you'll hear us discuss, and most people for this entire month will be giving more attention to what happens to our brain, what happens through our thought, our mental capacity that will render us unhealthy when we talk about our mental stability. So the brain reaction to the glucose, a form of sugar, is the primary source of energy for every cell in the body. So the brain functions such as like thinking, memory, and learning is closely linked to glucose levels and how efficiently the brain uses this fuel source. Now, if there isn't enough glucose in the brain, for example, the neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, are not produced, and communication between the neurons break down. There's absolutely none there. If you're not able to send messages to parts of your body, you are not able to control your body. In addition, the hypoglycemia, a common copulation of or a common complication of the diabetes caused by low glucose levels in the blood. And see, it's all about that balance. You're going to hear me use hyperglycemia. You're going to hear hypoglycemia. And hypoglycemia can lead to the loss of energy for brain function and is linked to poor attention and cognitive function. It's very important for you to take advantage of the knowledge that is available for you, because it really can help you tremendously whenever and if ever you're faced with these challenges. Some of the brain reactions to sugar. Number one, sugar activates the brain reward system, releasing dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good hormone, as you know. Increased sugar intake can lead to the cravings and addiction like behaviors. And the addiction like behaviors are those of, alcoholism and other illicit dope, all of that stuff, the illicit medications, they can be very, very dangerous to your body. As we continue, sugar consumption can enhance mood temporarily, but it may lead to crashes later on. So some people, they feel good when they eat a lot of sugar, but then after your insulin is used to help to manage that uh, all of the sugar that is in your blood, then what happens is that the insulin isn't able to deal with some other the sugars that were excess, and many times you'll have those so-called crashes. Now, high sugar levels can impair cognitive function and memory over time, and the brain can become desensitized to sugar. I really want to make that known, because some people have been eating it so long that they can become desensitized, requiring more for the same pleasure, just like dope, just like you hear about heroin or ecstasy or any of the types of drugs that we hear about frequently. Excessive sugar can contribute to inflammation, affecting your brain health. And the sugar can also influence the release of hormones like insulin, impacting energy levels. Long-term high sugar levels are linked to an increased risk of the neurodegenerative, if I can get it out, diseases. And the brain's response to sugar can vary based on the individual genetics and metabolism. Now, number 10 is the moderation is the key. You hear that a lot, meaning simply don't overdo it. You don't want to eat everything in moderation, because then it will definitely block the ways that you can get healthier. But moderation just simply means keep it balanced, reduce those portions that you eat in food, and this will help to balance your diets and support better brain function and overall health. Okay. Now, next, I'm going to go down from sugar. Let's go to salt. Now, when it comes to salt, it's found in all living things in small amounts in processed foods and in the salt shaker, of course. But you want to, salt shaker for those who have discipline. Don't just eat it so much that you're adding food to your salt instead of salt to your food. Now, salt consumption should not exceed the 1,500 to 2,000 milligram range, about a quarter teaspoon for people who are already healthy and are not experiencing any health problems. So keep that in mind. one thing that's good about the sodium is natural, and is unprocessed foods is not a problem. The unprocessed foods is not a problem, but we need this for the mineral balance and the electrical energy that all human bodies have. Now, for natural sources of higher sodium, vegetables are like celery, boiled beets, and boiled uh, beet greens. All of these foods are known for a good amount of sodium chloride, which is table salt. Let's also look at now oil. When it comes to oil, the oil, or like olive oil especially, is not heart healthy. When people overdo it with oil too, if it's good, small amounts are good. If someone tells you that oil is good for you, you want to know how much of that, how frequently should I use it? I've already seen the same advertisements that you've probably seen, where there's a doctor that is on the screen talking about drink up this olive oil, and this is why he has it every day. It makes it sound like some kind of fancy cocktail. But the truth is that everything in balance is a way that we can reduce the risk of illness and disease. Now we need the fat. That's the good thing about the oil, for survival, hormones, and for skin and nerves. Omega-3 fatty acids, they turn off inflammation, and they're also found in flax. They're found in hemp, chia seeds, walnuts, and green leafy vegetables. Okay, so this is important to maybe take some pictures in your mind of the avocado, pumpkin seeds, even salmon. Now, I know that vegans get on me. I am not in the vegan club. I have big respect for vegan. But even vegan, as good as it still doesn't have all the answers that we need as far as health goes. And it's really important that that we have our EFAs, which are essential fatty acids. We also need our vitamin B12, the cyanocobalamin, and we need to have the kinds of food to go along with our exercise and our rest and our wonderful, loving environment. So make sure that you, out of those three things we just talked about, the SOS, and that is the sugar, the oil, and the salt. I'm going to stop here, and let's bring the wonderful Carolyn back up.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Great information as always. To everyone, hello, and thank you all so much for joining us here on this Saturday. This is a pre recording, but Dr. Zarif and I will be in the comments being able to answer some questions, have a little chat back and forth if needed, and so on. So, Dr. Zarif, you mentioned the sugar. I know we've had discussions before about sugar, and how that used to be an issue of mine, as far as eating a lot of sweets. One of those things, one of those sweet candies that I always liked eating was called Gushers. And I would always eat Gushers, and they would keep me in a dentist. So I definitely know what you mean as far as moderation and doing things in small balances, so that way we don't overdo it, but you can still have that going on if needed. So this is great information. I know you have a lot more information to share with us.
Yeah.
So
All
I'm turning
right.
it over to you.
Here we go. Now, what the next will be, I would like to talk to you about what to eat for mental stability. And that is a mixture. You see all of these colors, all of the a mixture of things to put in your body. Now, it is today we have so many opportunities to eat correctly, to eat healthfully. But if we don't eat healthfully, what is going to happen is we'll get some of the same diseases that we've always known people to get. And the ones especially that are leading, like heart disease, diabetes, atherosclerosis, cancer. All of these are different diseases that can trip us up. They can change our lives for the negative. So we want to make sure that we do things, and this is for the best. Okay, one of the let's call it things that we can do for one of our mental challenges for stability. And this is when people have anxiety disorders. Now, anxiety disorders is not easy by any, none of these are, or else they wouldn't be called diseases. It's important to know that the anxiety disorders are defined by the disappropriately high levels of fear and anxiety and avoidance in response to certain objects and situations. Now, there are also the very scary panic attacks that people get from things like agoraphobia, things that panic disorder. All of these are balanced out by a few foods that are very effective. And those foods are omega-3 fatty acids. Now, again, they're found in fish. I don't think that there's ever going to be a time that the whole world are eating all vegetables and fruits. What I do get from this, well, especially vegan and those people that are just aware of eating, is if you are eating those kinds of meats and you are eating those kinds of fish, the fishes of the sea, it is what is very helpful. What is most effective is by eating smaller amounts, not eating a whole half a chicken or eating a whole leg of beef of cattle. It's just that we overdo it. And when we overdo it, you can pretty much expect that there's going to be some backlash. Um, Next, the leafy green vegetables, as I talked about earlier, the spinach and kale are rich in magnesium and they can help to regulate food. So at Trader Joe's, for instance, if you're getting your spinach and your kale, which is one of their fastest or biggest sellers, is that they work and they work very well when it comes to digestive disorders. Chamomile, for instance, when it comes to tea and green tea, they have calming effects. You want to relax. And if you are a person that is high strung and you have a lot of anxiety, see if you can match up with somebody that is calm. You don't need to be around people that are going to make you overly excited instead of helping you to calm down. Okay, just being around people, period, that will help you tremendously. Let's move on to mood disorders. Now, when it comes to mood disorders, these are mental health conditions that affect your mood. And depressive disorders involve sad, empty, or irritable moods, along with physical and thought. And thought is cognitive changes that affect the ability to function. Bipolar disorders involve extreme mood shifts, such as between the highs and of mania and the lows of depression. So that's a person that goes through that. They're not wanting to do that, on purpose. It is quite inadvertent. So again, learning more about these different disorders will help you to deal with your loved ones. Want to go down now to what is called substance related disorders. Now, substance related disorders is pretty much like it sounds: alcohol and substance use disorders. So involve changes, this particular the alcohol and substance use involve changes in the brain chemistry that create a dependence on the substance you're using. And now today with fentanyl, heroin, uh, you have all of the types of, I was just looking at this program where they were cooking uh, drugs right on the stove. There's a, you know, we don't have to get into all that, but let's just say this, that there is a opioid epidemic. And there's a huge use of that. And we want to do something about it. People with these conditions, they may experience dependence or with dependence and withdrawal symptoms and impairments in their personal or work lives that are related to substance use. And if you need help with people that need help with substance problems or um, mental because we are talking about mental stability, we talk about mental health, you can reach out and talk to NAMNI is the National Alliance of Mental Illness and the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization at 1-800-950-6264. Also we have other people that are local, like Miss Aretha Adams, can be reached at 323 497 5777. She's a local professional behavioral therapist. And we can put these people to work by getting in contact with them and see how they can help you. And that's exactly what we're here to do. I want to go on to the next thing, the sleep wake disorders. Now, this is really bad because sleeping is really very important when it comes to getting the kind of sleep that'll help you to heal your body. And that's called the sleep wake disorders. This affects the quality and the amount of your sleep that you get. And the symptoms usually involve distress during the daytime and can interfere with your ability to function in the day-to-day life. Things that you probably heard described or describing sleep wake disorders would be circadian rhythm, sleep wake disorder. Now, this circadian rhythm, we'll talk about that later. This is a wonderful way to eat. It's a great eating lifestyle. We'll get on to that later on, but there is help coming. Okay, so let's go down here. And one more, I want to go over the neurocognitive disorders. Now, this one is the one that we're paying a lot to because it involves Alzheimer's disease. It involves the major neurocognitive disorder, the mild neurocognitive disorder, and Parkinson's disease. Now, the neurocognitive disorders that involved a decline in your cognitive or your thinking abilities, by definition, the neurocognitive disorders aren't present at birth or at the early developmental stage, but rather represent the loss of previously acquired functions or skills. So this is something that can be definitely chronic. It can accumulate over time. And one of the things that I really emphasize to you is that when you are eating things like lard or the food that is making like acrylamide, that from frying in very hot grease, and even the roasted nuts, a roasted coffee, believe it or not, can be potentially a carcinogen, which means potentially cancerous. Yeah, all of these things are things we have to continue bringing to you because they definitely go very fast. Okay, so we'll stop right there and see if we can talk to the wonderful queen here and see what she has to say. And thank you for being here. We're going to leave short today, but we're going to get to you as much as we can. All right, Carolyn, you're muted.
There it is again. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari. you
No.
mentioned you mentioned a number to call. There's also an additional number here that I wanted to show for the pet team. Dialing 988, which is a crisis response team, emergency team as well for that. So that's a number for anyone to take note of, 988 for a pet team. So I just wanted to go ahead and get that information out there as well.
That's very good. That because sometimes we don't know what to say, what to do in those situations. If somebody is acting abnormally, you something that you never seen before, or something you may not have heard before, that beyond anger. This is when, or a person starts to throw furniture around or whatever, being violent. This is where you get help from. And I
Mhm.
know it's very difficult when your loved ones may fall apart, meaning that they don't have any type of control over that, and you're thinking that you're looking at a person that you've known all the while, but the truth is that these disorders and diseases do interfere with the normal behavior of our loved ones.
Yes, absolutely.
So as we continue on here, the next thing that I wanted to share with you are the foods that affect the neurocognitive disorders. Now, this is really good. One of the things that we see in all of the foods that help with stability, that help to reduce some of the sensitivity, is omega-3 fatty acids. Now, for those of you that are vegans, remember, you can get omega-3 fatty acids from walnuts and flax seeds. And they support brain health and they reduce cognitive decline. Now, cognitive decline is when we get older and our brain doesn't act like it did when we were younger. A lot of times, what is happening, our physical brain is shrinking. And what does that mean? It means that it's hardening and it's getting smaller and is not a brain that has all of that, the flow of blood and the health and balance of that brain, which is super, super important. You start now. You hear me now. Do it now. Don't wait and say 10 years later, oh, yeah, I remember Dr. Zarif told me about that. Remember Carolyn said that? Let me stop making it. I got to stop making that voice. It sounds like I'm talking about somebody. But you get the idea. I'm just being facetious there, but I'm very serious when it comes to move on it. There's another really wonderful ingredient, if you will. This is a component of turmeric. And turmeric is, of course, a seasoning, but it contains curcumin. And curcumin, which has the anti inflammatory properties, and it may enhance memory and mood. So this is very, very good to know, memory and mood. Some people are happy every day you see them. Every time you see them, they're big smile and they like to laugh and just really good, wonderful, loving people. But you have some people that are very cantankerous. They're moody. They're grouchy. You don't know what they're going to say from one moment to the next moment. And all of that is learned. It doesn't have to necessarily mean it's a disorder, but some people's habits are so bad that it feels like, is she crazy? Or is he crazy? You see? And that's only because they've allowed it for a very long time. Now I'm going to talk about the children a little bit here because the children are sometimes, to me, just a garbage disposal to some people. They'll take a child and they say, here, you eat it. She'll eat anything or he'll eat anything. But there is a disease and or disorder which is called childhood mental health disorder. And childhood mental health disorders, they often are labeled as developmental disorders or learning disorders. Now it's coming back to everybody, right? ADHD, you might be thinking about that the very first thing on your mind. But I'm thinking about other diseases or disorders like conduct disorder or disorder of written expression. We have disruptive mood and dysregulation disorder. We also have encopresis. We have enuresis. We have the oppositional defiant disorder. And that is one ugly thing to see, the oppositional defiant, the child that just won't, they go opposite to I'm not going to even, I don't want to set up, without a little time to say it, but look up optional defiant disorder. It's one of the ugliest. Then we have reading disorder. And we have selective mutism along with Tourette syndrome. So you might have heard of some of those. I know Tourette syndrome is the one that people who have different very, those little movements like that, and they curse a lot of times when they talk and they want to express themselves. They don't mean it because sometimes they do things to hurt themselves, and other times they do things that can hurt the very people that's dearest to them. Okay. Now, I want to go over the last part here before I go over how you find a affordable disorder. Are we going to bring care back?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. To anyone there, if you missed any of the numbers or anything, remember this will be on replay. You can always go back and watch the replay, pause it, take numbers down, and things like that. So, again, thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are and will be on our way to Mount Tabor. So, just a reminder for anyone that's going to be joining us, we're going to be at Mount Tabor for Dr. Zari's presentation, and also Funkinetics Working It Out workout class, Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church, 6614 Southwestern, Los Angeles, California. So just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari.
Thank you so much. And I want to get in there too with it. We have exercise class locally. Now, for a couple of years, people were just, come on, we got to get some classes. We got to get some classes. We got to get some classes. Um, Michelle Franklin Glass worked hard to get this going along with other individuals. And I don't want to start the shout out thing, but you know who you are. And we really appreciate you being there. We need everybody to bring somebody. Just by getting somebody working and moving their body will help tremendously with their heart health and their brain health, especially the brain. We're going to use this whole month talking about what we can do for mental health because it is a serious problem that we have in our community. So let's keep it up. And that is for when I say our community, I'm talking about Black folks. Now that this disease is in other people, in other people's culture also, but we need to pay attention to what and who we are, take care of ourselves first, and then you can go and tell somebody else, or suggest to somebody else what to do. Am I racist? Hell no, I can't be racist. I'm not, I don't keep anybody from doing what they need to do as a human. I don't block anybody's abilities to be a productive member. I don't take away the rights of people to get the best medical attention. I don't force people to live in communities that are subpar. I don't have problems with my phobia, like driving down the street. And then, if you see a siren, you damn near have a heart attack because practically anything you have to deal with the police is going to be some problems, because they start off with not knowing how to speak, or they're pretending like they're your friend. And, when we can look at things like a grandmother get beat down on the 110, when we can see Tamir Rice get shot and playing in the park by a grown uh, police officer that had just recently, I think the day before that, was just put on the force. You got people that are serving as our defense, of people that are supposed to be peacemakers, but instead we have hunters hunting for what? They're hunting for people that look like they've been told, that act like they've been told, and that's usually like anger. Now, these people, if a person says, "Hey, man, no, I didn't do it," or "No, take your hands off me," they feel like they have the right to put their hands on you, even if they're wrong. They have the right to tell you to sit down, even if you have grandchildren. They call you a boy, or "What you trying to do, sass me? What the hell is this, 1725?" So we have a lot of work to do. And yeah, I'm going to come with a mixture of emotions, because this is how I keep myself balanced. I'm so sick of seeing my brothers get shot in the back and then nothing happens. I'm sick of having our people berate our people with the N word. And it's like, don't we have enough problems without somebody thinking that what they supposed to, is that a term of endearment? Hell no, it's not. So it's a lot of things that, hey, you got what you got. That's me. And I'm going to keep bringing you information, of course, about how to keep yourself fit, how to keep yourself healthy. But I'm a black man, and I'm in America, and I'm affected by the stuff that happens. So I'm going to do what I can do. And if I can just get to one person out there, if I can get to one woman or one man, if I can help a family, that's what I'm here to do. We got to stay strong. We got to stay focused. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari. Um, do you have anything else that we're going to talk about as far as the affordable therapy, or would you like to just go ahead and?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off now. I was done then, but since we're still going. We are looking forward to you showing up at 6614 Western Avenue, 6614 Western Avenue, to work out and to learn more about it. We are not about anything but helping each other. And we got a lot of work to do, so, get your clothes, get your light weights, get your mat, get you something to drink, bring it all down there. Remember, we start at 9 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. And we have a very wonderful class that I think that you'll enjoy very much. And then we have the fitness class after that. Movement is super important to the betterment of your body. Okay. You are the only one in your body, the spirit in your body, your physical body. That's you. That's what makes up you. And you shouldn't treat it like just a garbage can where you're throwing anything inside of it. Let's be more deliberate about what we eat, what we drink, how we sleep, when we exercise, and the beautiful environment that we're in. All right. So we're going to get on out of here now. Thank you very much, everybody. Really busy, busy, busy. And thanks to you all that we're here and you give us greater purpose. Now, everybody have a beautiful one. You've been listening to The Mind of Nature. I'm Dr. Zarif.
And I'm Carolyn Gentle. Thank